What you're seeing right now from the Pittsburgh Steelers isn't headline-grabbing free agency splashes or blockbuster trades, but it is the quiet foundation-building phase that often tells you how an organization is really thinking. The team has continued to add to its reserve future list, and every one of these moves gives us a clearer picture of how the Steelers are shaping the bottom of the roster, the practice squad pipeline, and the competition that will matter when training camp arrives. These are not random names. These are players the coaching staff has already watched up close, evaluated in meetings, and decided are worth investing another offseason in. Start with the offensive line, because that's where stability and depth always matter. Doug Nestor is a perfect example of the Steelers' approach. He spent the entire 2024 season on the practice squad after signing in December, and the team clearly liked what they saw. Nestor brings real experience from West Virginia, where he appeared in 57 games and started 52 of them. That's not nothing. In 2023 alone, he played 660 offensive snaps and did not allow a single sack. For a team that values linemen who are technically sound and battle-tested, keeping Nestor in the building makes sense. This is about developing depth that can be trusted if injuries hit, not chasing a name for March headlines at receiver. The Steelers doubled down on versatility and competition. Brandon Smith arrives after bouncing between the New York Jets' active roster and practice squad, with stops at the New England Patriots, Dallas Cowboys, Arizona Cardinals, and even the DC Defenders of the UFL. He's been around, and that matters. At Iowa, Smith started 26 games and finished with 91 receptions for 1,046 yards and 9 touchdowns. That college production, combined with pro experience across multiple systems, tells you this is a player who understands how to survive on the margins of an NFL roster. Alongside him is Cole Burgess, who took a very different path. Coming from Division III, SUNY Burgess dominated at that level, earning multiple honors and averaging over 22 yards per catch during his final season. The Steelers aren't betting that Burgess is a finished product. They're betting on traits, work ethic, and development over time. Special teams and defensive depth are also clearly being emphasized. Cal Adamitis, a Pittsburgh native, adds familiarity and reliability at long snapper. He already has real NFL experience, having played 49 games with the Cincinnati Bengals, and that kind of steadiness is critical in a role fans only notice when something goes wrong. On the defensive line, Kyler Baugh and Anthony Goodlow represent two different developmental bets. Baugh has already spent most of the season on the Steelers' practice squad and brings production from Minnesota and Houston Baptist. Goodlow, meanwhile, has moved through multiple organizations and earned elevations to active rosters, showing he can be trusted when called upon. These are the types of players who often end up being valuable rotational pieces if they take a step forward in the secondary. Daquan Hardy and Jack Henderson give the Steelers flexibility. Hardy, a former 6th-round pick, brings playmaking ability from his Penn State days, including punt return touchdowns and a knack for getting his hands on the football. Henderson's college production jumps off the page, especially his tackle numbers and pass rush ability from the safety position. Even though his previous stint with the Steelers was brief, the team clearly sees enough upside to keep evaluating him. Then there's the collection of offensive skill, players and specialists who round out this group. Max Hurlman offers punt return ability and special teams value. Lou Nichols brings a proven college rushing resume, including a nation-leading 1,710 yards in 2021, even if his NFL opportunities have been limited so far. John Reese Plumlee is one of the more intriguing names, a former college quarterback with athletic versatility who has already spent time in multiple NFL buildings. Add in Stephen Jones on the offensive line, Julius Welshoff with his international background and defensive flexibility, and Aiden Williams as a developmental tackle, and a clear pattern emerges. The Steelers are stocking the shelves with players who can compete, develop, and push others during camp. Rather than handing out empty roster spots this first wave of reserve, future contracts isn't about instant impact on Sundays in September. It's about who earns the right to stay when the roster tightens, who surprises in camp, and who becomes reliable depth when adversity hits. As a Steelers fan, this is where you start looking for the next unexpected contributor. Based on these moves alone, What do you think this strategy says about how the Steelers are building the roster moving forward? The more you look at this group of reserve future signings, the clearer it becomes that the Steelers are treating this offseason as a proving ground rather than a reset button. Every name on this list represents someone the organization has already had in its building or has tracked closely enough to believe there is unfinished business there. This is not about familiarity for comfort's sake. This is about reducing uncertainty. When training camp opens, the coaching staff will not be guessing who these players are, how they prepare, or whether they fit the culture. They already know, and that gives these players a real chance to compete rather than just fill a locker. Take a closer look at how many of these players have lived on practice squads across multiple teams. That matters more than fans sometimes realize. Brandon Smith's journey through the Jets, Patriots, Cowboys, Cardinals, and the UFL tells a story of adaptability. He has learned different playbooks, different receiver roles, and different expectations. That kind of experience can quietly show up in camp, especially in a wide receiver room where special teams value route discipline and blocking can be just as important as highlight catches. Cole Burgess, on the other hand, represents the classic Steelers swing at upside. Coming from Division III football, his production was undeniable, but the leap to the NFL is massive. By keeping him on a reserve future deal, the Steelers are buying time to see whether that dominance translates when the competition level jumps dramatically.
On the offensive line, the theme is durability and consistency. Doug Nestor and Stephen Jones both come from college programs where protection and discipline were emphasized. Nestor's snap count and sack-free season at West Virginia stand out because they speak to reliability, not just raw talent. Jones starting every game at Oregon for a line that allowed just 5 sacks in a season reinforces the same idea. These players may not be penciled in as starters, but they are the type of linemen coaches trust to execute assignments correctly, which is often how backups earn extended NFL careers. Defensively, the Steelers are clearly casting a wide net across the front 7 and secondary. Kyler Baugh, Anthony Goodlow, KJ Henry, Julius Welshoff, Daquan Hardy, and Jack Henderson all bring different skill sets, body types, and backgrounds. Some are more pass rush oriented, others are tackle producers, and some offer special teams value. What ties them together is versatility. In today's NFL, depth defenders have to do more than one thing. They have to rush, cover, tackle, and contribute on special teams. This group gives the coaching staff options to mix and match during camp and preseason, creating real competition rather than predetermined depth charts. One of the most interesting under-the-radar aspects of these moves is special teams emphasis. Cal Adamitis as a long snapper, Max Hurlman as a punt returner, Lou Nichols with special teams experience, and even John Reese Plumlee with his athletic background all point in the same direction. The Steelers are protecting the hidden yards phase of the game. These roles rarely dominate conversations, but they absolutely swing close games. Keeping multiple options in-house allows the team to avoid scrambling later if injuries or performance issues arise. John Reese Plumlee deserves a bit more attention because his path is so unconventional. A former college quarterback who transitioned to receiver, he brings athleticism, football intelligence, and flexibility. Even if he never becomes a featured offensive piece, players like Plumlee often find ways to stick because they can line up in multiple spots, contribute on special teams, and give defensive looks in practice that help prepare starters. Those are the kinds of players coaches quietly value. When you zoom out, this entire group reflects patience and internal development. The Steelers are not treating the bottom of the roster as disposable. They are investing in continuity, evaluation, and competition. Some of these players will be gone before week 1. That's the reality of the NFL. But a few will surprise, carve out roles, and maybe even become names fans recognize a year from now. That's how these stories usually start, far away from the spotlight, on lists like this one. Another layer to all of this that shouldn't be ignored is how these reserve/future contracts quietly protect the Steelers from being reactive later in the offseason. When free agency and the draft pass, teams that ignored the bottom of the roster often find themselves scrambling for emergency depth. Pittsburgh is doing the opposite. By retaining players they already know, the Steelers are giving themselves insurance at multiple positions without having to overpay or rush evaluations. These players are already familiar with the terminology, the expectations, and the daily standard inside the building, which shortens the learning curve when competition ramps up. It's also important to understand what these deals mean from the player's perspective. A reserve/future contract is not a guarantee of anything beyond opportunity. For someone like Kyler Baugh or Anthony Goodlow, this is a chance to enter the offseason program knowing the coaches want another look. That alone changes how a player trains, prepares, and approaches camp. The same applies to defensive backs like Daquan Hardy and Jack Henderson, where competition is always fierce and roster spots are limited. The Steelers are essentially saying, "We're not done evaluating you yet," and that message carries weight. Look at how many of these players bring some form of positional flexibility. Julius Welshoff has experience at defensive end and linebacker type roles depending on alignment. KJ Henry has already been part of multiple defensive systems and has starting experience in the NFL. Aiden Williams adds developmental size and strength at tackle, a position where injuries can quickly expose a lack of depth. Even Lou Nichols, primarily known as a runner, has already been used on special teams when elevated. This flexibility gives the coaching staff more freedom during preseason games to test different combinations without being boxed into rigid roles. There's also a developmental timeline element here that fans sometimes overlook. Not every contributor shows up ready in year one. Some of these players may spend another full season on the practice squad, refining technique, learning situational football, and adjusting to NFL speed. Doug Nestor is a perfect example of that patient approach. He didn't arrive with hype, but his college resume and steady practice squad presence earned him another chance. That's how trust is built inside this organization, through repetition and consistency rather than noise. When you consider the mix of college backgrounds represented here, from powerhouse programs to Division III schools and even international roots, it reinforces the idea that the Steelers are not married to one single prototype. Production, effort, and coachability matter more than pedigree. Cole Burgess dominating at SUNY Cortland earned him a look. Max Hurlman's special teams contributions at Notre Dame mattered. Welshoff's journey from Germany to Michigan to Charlotte didn't scare this staff away. If anything, it shows they are comfortable developing players with unique paths. All of this points to a front office that values control and preparation. By the time camp opens, the Steelers will already have a deep pool of players who know what is expected of them. That creates sharper competition, better practices, and ultimately a stronger roster from top to bottom. Some of these names will fade quietly, but others will force tough decisions, and those are the situations coaches want to be in. There's also a bigger organizational philosophy showing through these moves that connects directly to how the Steelers want competition to feel inside the building. When you stack this many reserve/future players at similar positions, especially on the defensive front, in the secondary, and at wide receiver, you're creating pressure. Not pressure from outside expectations, but internal pressure. Nobody walks into OTAs or training camp comfortable. Every rep matters. Every special team snap matters. That environment is intentional, and it has been part of how Pittsburgh operates for decades. For the coaching staff, this depth allows for more honest evaluations. When you only have one or two fringe players at a position, snaps get distributed by necessity. With this group, snaps have to be earned. A defensive back like Daquan Hardy isn't just competing against one player, he's competing against multiple bodies with different strengths. A receiver like Brandon Smith isn't just trying to stand out in drills, he's fighting for relevance in meetings, on special teams, and in situational packages. That's where real separation happens. Another subtle but important point is how these players support the development of starters. Practice squad and depth players are not just backups, they are the ones giving the starters the looks they need every week. A versatile player like John Reese Plumlee can simulate mobile quarterbacks in practice. A pass rusher like KJ Henry can give offensive tackles meaningful work during the week. That value doesn't show up on a stat sheet, but coaches notice it quickly. Keeping players who can elevate practice quality is part of winning on Sundays. The international element with Julius Welshoff also highlights how global the evaluation process has become. His background, injury history, and positional flexibility make him a longer-term project, but one the Steelers clearly believe is worth continued investment. These are the kinds of players who often take a leap once health and consistency align. By keeping him in the system, the Steelers retain the option to see if that leap happens under their supervision rather than somewhere else. From a fan perspective, it's easy to overlook these transactions because they don't come with instant gratification. But historically, this is where role players, special teams contributors, and occasional starters are found. This is where injuries are absorbed instead of becoming season-altering problems. This is where young players learn how to be professionals before they're ever asked to be heroes. As camp approaches, narratives will naturally focus on quarterbacks, first-round picks, and major roster battles. But underneath all of that, this group will be grinding for relevance, fighting for a future, and shaping the tone of competition every single day. Some of them will be gone quietly, others will earn their way into meaningful roles. And when that happens, this is where their story began. One more thing that deserves attention is how these reserve/future signings quietly reflect lessons learned from recent seasons. The Steelers have been burned before by thin depth at key positions, especially when injuries stack up late in the year. clear. These moves suggest the organization is trying to stay ahead of that curve. Instead of waiting for a problem to appear, they are preloading the roster with players who can step in without the entire structure collapsing. That's not exciting football.